You said you were hungry. Do you like raisins? See? Delicious.
Sally, what are you doing down here in the dark? Go on, up you come. That's right. Up those steps, quick as you can now.
Hey guys, what's happening? Niyat here with Film Comics Explained, and as voted for by everyone in the latest poll, today we'll be exploring Don't Be Afraid of the Dark, the 2010 supernatural horror film written by Guillermo del Toro and Matthew Robbins, and directed by Troy Nixey. In Rhode Island, interior designers Alex and his girlfriend Kim welcome his daughter Sally to live with them at Blackwood Manor, the former home of a famous painter that disappeared under mysterious circumstances. When Sally finds a hidden basement, the family are forced to fight for their lives against an ancient evil with a penchant for teeth.
Not just something more to eat, not children's teeth, like you wanted.
We pick up at Blackwood Manor in the 19th century. Renowned wildlife painter Lord Blackwood summons a housekeeper to the basement before reluctantly clubbing her to death. Removing both of their teeth, he offers them to creatures within the fireplace who reject them and demand only the teeth of children. He begs them to hand over his son, only to be dragged away. Heading to the present, we find Sally Hurst drawing on a plane ride, about to meet her estranged father and his new girlfriend in Rhode Island. Kim is a bit anxious about the responsibility at first, and it's clear that Sally and Alex don't know each other well.
Hey Sally, it's nice to meet you.
I love you. I love you. Thanks.
On the ride to Blackwood Manor, we learn that Sally did not want to leave LA as she was happy with her mother. Alex is also so preoccupied with the renovation that he barely acknowledges his daughter, something Kim picks up on during the ride. They arrive to work as getting the place ready for the open house party in a few days. Strangely, when groundskeeper Harris notices Sally, he flinches, indicating something was not right. Sally then enters the study, followed by Kim, who does her best to show her intention to look out for her. But Sally isn't interested, only wanting to return to her mother. Trying to break the tension, Kim reveals a Raving crest her grandmother gave her when she was also a kid. In response, Sally coldly tells her,
My mom gave me to my dad.
before leaving. When Alex shows Sally to her room, she asks him how long she has to stay. Surprised by the question, he does his best to skirt around the devastating truth that her mother abandoned her. Unable to process everything, she begins acting out and directing her hatred towards Kim, who she thinks is trying to replace her mother.
Mom said you only liked her because she was young, but she isn't. She's old.
Sally.
After locking herself in the bathroom, she eventually comes out and says that she wants to go to bed. Despite the way she was being treated, the good-spirited Kim attempts to come up with ways to connect with Sally, but Alex ignores this and dispassionately says that she will grow to like her. What they don't realize is that Sally can overhear their discussion through the vents. Heading to the dreaded basement, we hear voices coming from the fireplace. As everyone continues working the following morning, Sally hears them calling her name. Following them to the garden, she's treated to the beautiful scenery and smiles for the first time. Heading to the side of the manor, Sally then spots bushes that appear to be hiding something. The groundskeeper suddenly appears, agitated, and tells her it's not safe. He tries to lead her back to the house when Kim and Alex arrive. Much to his dismay, Sally points towards the bushes and tells them that she found a secret window. Having not seen this in the blueprints, Alex begins to investigate. Grabbing a hammer, he tears out a hollow wall, revealing a hidden doorway to the basement that took Lord Blackwood.
How the hell did we miss this? Harris, did you know about this?
This place isn't safe, especially for kids.
Pulled in by the voices calling her name, Sally looks towards the bolted fireplace. While everyone is busy the next morning, she creeps into the basement with a wrench to open it. Alex comes down as she unscrews the last bolt, and she tells him there are voices in the fireplace. When he puts his ear to it, the creatures try to stab him and fail, something Sally and Alex don't notice.
Nothing. Come on, let's go, kiddo.
Seeing the tooth tray, Sally takes one and puts it in her pocket. As they start to leave, the cover falls off, revealing an ominous hole. Still not coping with the changes, during dinner, Sally refuses to eat. Kim encouragingly tells her that she can have the apple pie instead, but Sally declines, saying her mother told her not to eat gluten. Furious at the mention of her mother, Alex tells her she can either eat or go to bed. And so, Sally leaves with attitude, while Kim disappointingly shakes her head at Alex. When she places the tooth under her pillow, she wakes up to find an old coin had replaced it.
Are you very hungry? Well, I have food.
Unfortunately, Sally continues to hear voices in the vents that claim to be friends wanting to be set free. In an effort to persuade her to join them, they tell Sally her parents don't want her and begin sowing seeds of hatred to tear them apart.
They don't want you. Come down and play.
Alex then notices his shaving blade is missing, and when Kim goes to see what she's going to wear at the open house, she finds that her clothes have been torn into pieces. Of course, Alex confronts Sally, and she tells him she didn't do it. Kim watches from the hallway and appears to believe her, but is confused about who else it could be. The next day, they head into town while Harris and the cook watch over Sally. Kim is not shy about stating that Alex seems disconnected from his daughter.
I'm talking about Sally. These things...
It's all in her head, Kim.
Yeah, but it's real to her. It doesn't matter if we see it.
Meanwhile, Sally sneaks back downstairs with a flashlight and raisins. When the creatures explain that they hate the light, she turns it off and offers them food since they were hungry. They're just about to come out when Harris runs down and asks who she's talking to. Sally lies and says nobody, before being ordered to leave. The groundskeeper goes to seal the fireplace back up when the voices begin to berate him. As he backs away begging for mercy, he tells them that he hasn't told anyone else anything, but they begin to viciously attack him nonetheless. To their horror, Sally and the cook then see Harris collapse in front of them, covered in blood. When Alex and Kim return home, they're shocked to find the police there. The cook tells them that Harris had an accident and has been hospitalized. She also explains that Sally may be in shock after what they saw. As Alex speaks with the police, Kim runs out to the backyard to find Sally crying. Comforting her, she takes Sally to the center of the garden and reveals a beautiful fountain filled with fish. It's here that Sally promises she never damaged her clothes. Embracing a motherly instinct, Kim hugs her and states that she didn't care about them. This is the first time that anyone has shown Sally she was a priority to them, and their relationship begins to blossom. Not only does Kim lovingly carry her to bed that night, but Sally also pleads with her to stay.
Don't leave.
What's wrong?
Even when I'm asleep.
I'll be right here.
Kim waits for her to fall asleep before going to the main bedroom. Furious their work was now undone, the creatures knock over the nightlight and wake Sally up. Grabbing the flashlight, Sally shines it on one of them, which cries in pain, causing her to scream. By the time Alex and Kim enter the room, they flee into the vents. However, Kim notices the broken light and the teddy bear they tore to bits. Thinking his daughter was troubled, Alex organizes for her to see a therapist. When questioned about her recent behavior, she draws pictures of the creatures talking to her and explains they are like evil fairies. When asked what they were telling her, she says,
You want to play with me?
Is that all?
They say my parents don't love me.
The doctor shows the drawings to Alex and Kim, and despite Kim's skepticism, they conclude they're imaginary. Unconvinced, Kim goes to the hospital to speak with the groundskeeper. Barely able to speak, Harris informs Kim to get Sally out of the house. He then gives her the index information for a book and instructions to go to a certain library. Once there, a librarian leads her to the book and explains it was made by Lord Blackwood. He tells her of how Blackwood and his son went missing, and Kim is taken aback that they didn't know about this. Worse yet are pictures and notes the painter made of ancient fairies he claimed ate bones and teeth from victims, mainly children. Supposedly, they also took one victim to convert as one of their own, to help them acclimate with the new civilization they're hunting. The similarities between this and Sally's drawings are not lost on Kim, who takes everything in. After learning of a secret mural Blackwood made somewhere in the house, she rushes back to the manor. At the same time, the creatures continue to torment Sally and lock her in the bathroom. Luckily, the workers managed to break in just as the monsters were about to get her and turn the light on, forcing them to scatter. Alex and Kim arrive home to find the cook in a frantic state. She explains they had another incident and that Sally is crying in her room. But when Kim runs up there, she's gone. Entering the basement, Kim notices a giant tarp covering part of the wall for the first time. To her terror, she finds the mural Blackwood made of his child being taken by fairies. Alex tells her Sally may have run away, and the pair drive down the road looking for her. As they scour the street, Kim mentions all the things she discovered about the manor, but as always, Alex brushes it off before they finally find Sally and bring her home. Instead of having a meaningful discussion about the freaky things that have happened, he continues to prepare for the open house the following night. As Kim and Sally get ready, she finds Alex's blade in Sally's drawer. Like a thug, she explains she needs it for protection, but Kim assures her she has her back. When Sally explains the creatures don't like bright lights, Kim cleverly gives her a camera to make her feel at ease at the party. Of course, it's not long before the whispering begins. Spotting one of the creatures, Sally's able to take a picture and scare it away. Kim isn't playing about her promise to protect Sally, and when Alex comes into the bedroom, he finds her packing their things. While not entirely sure what is going on, she makes a fantastic case that the best thing for them to do is leave. Unwilling to ruin his big night, he makes a huge mistake and refuses, before going back down to join the party.
It's been in business since 1865. Easy, Sally. Not everybody wants to have their photograph taken, okay?
It's here that Sally tries showing him the photo she took, but with the image still developing, he goes off to welcome everyone. To her surprise, the fairy returns and steals the evidence, luring her into the study where the others lock her in. They then begin to taunt her. The brave Sally defensively snaps pictures everywhere to keep them back, and even kills one of the fairies using the bookcase. When everyone arrives, Alex embraces his terrified daughter, who tells him she had proof, but the only image left is one of her screaming. With everyone now leaving, after comforting his daughter, Alex finally goes down to the basement and stares at the mural. When Kim joins him, he finally accepts that she was right and that they need to leave. With Kim having already packed their things, he offers to get the car ready while she works Sally up, but when he enters the garage, the creatures knock him out and cut the power. Grabbing the flashlight off Sally's table, Kim walks through the hallways and hears voices in the dark. As she goes downstairs, she falls over tripwire and begins losing consciousness as the fairies surround her and point upstairs towards Sally.
Sally. Child's teeth.
At the same time, Sally wakes up and heads downstairs, armed with the camera. When she finds Kim, the tooth fairies begin to swarm them. They drag Sally towards the basement and she screams, waking Kim and her father up. Kim heads down into the basement to find the creatures preparing to pull Sally into the fireplace. Meanwhile, Alex tries to find them amidst the maze of locked doors and attacks from the creatures. Using a box cutter, Kim begins to cut the rope, telling Sally to run when she's free. With the rope now also tangled around her legs, she frees her daughter, angering the tooth fairies. In response, as Kim smiles at Sally, they violently pull her into the fireplace. Alex breaks in to find Kim hanging on, but before he can save her, she's pulled inside a hole revealed to be the entrance to a massive underground cave. Breaking down, Alex hugs his daughter and apologizes for not believing her. They return to the now foreclosed manor a few days later. Using daylight for protection, they pay their respects to Kim. Not only does Sally have the same hairstyle, but she's also wearing Kim's jacket, showing how much she appreciated her. Sally then lays down a picture she drew of them together before they leave. What they don't see is a draft that leads it down to the fireplace, followed by the voices of the creatures discussing their next plan. Shockingly, Kim's voice can be heard, indicating that she'd been transformed into a tooth fairy. Commanding the collective, she tells them they will dig deeper until humanity forgets they exist, as they always have, upon which they can return to feast.
We have all the time in the world.
Yes. All the time in the world.
Well, that's all for today, folks. A huge thanks to everyone who voted we covered Don't Be Afraid of the Dark. If there's anything else you'd like for me to explore, please don't hesitate to ask. As always, it's been a pleasure. Niyat here with Film and Comics Explained. Thanks for stopping by.
So what makes them special is also what makes them vulnerable. They have to be tough. And you too, Sally.